Increasingly desperate, Meghan Markle flies into the UK. It's a circus. F off back to Montecito.
Surprising news out of Buckingham Palace. Prince Harry and his family make the long-awaited royal visit to the King and Queen.
And it does come after the usual royal drama.
At first, it seemed security concerns might keep Harry, Meghan, and the kids away. But since he split with the family, Harry has had a rocky relationship with his father. Now it appears, though, it was the king who very much wanted this to happen.
The Duke of Delusion has tried to put a smile on his face as he leaves Chatham House and new footage with a thumbs up. With a thumbs up to try and suggest that everything is okay.
The biggest twist of Harry's visit did not unfold in front of television cameras or waiting photographers. It reportedly happened behind closed doors. Meghan Markle, Archie, and Lilibet were no longer remaining out of sight in California. Instead, they quietly arrived in the United Kingdom, made their way to Highgrove, and joined Prince Harry for a private meeting with King Charles and Queen Camilla. If true, it completely reshapes everything people thought they knew about this trip. After days filled with confusion, public denials, security concerns, disagreements involving the palace, and repeated reports claiming the family visit had fallen apart, the Sussexes suddenly delivered the most unexpected development of the entire journey. It immediately raised another question. Did all of that uncertainty, the endless will they or won't they speculation, actually help keep the real plan hidden until the very last moment? That possibility has now become a major talking point. Now it seems the king may have been especially eager for this meeting to take place. Looking back,
Meghan and Harry won. They got everything they wanted. They haven't had to say as much as a sorry or a by your leave or an excuse me. And today they got the thing that they've been looking for all this time, FaceTime with the king.
But she doesn't want things to be private. She doesn't want things to look like they have the appearance of still being on the outside if, no one can see that they are benefiting from being in alignment with royalty again. Because the Sussex brand was built on the royal connection.
One small detail from this week suddenly feels much easier to understand. People kept asking exactly the same thing every time Harry appeared in public. Why did he seem so cheerful? Why was he laughing and joking? Why did he look surprisingly calm after losing a major court case, getting pulled into another disagreement over palace accommodation, and facing headlines that painted his return as one setback after another? His attitude seemed completely different from what many expected. If these reports are accurate, Harry already knew Meghan and the children were on their way. He already believed the private meeting was still going ahead. While the public watched what appeared to be a difficult week filled with bad headlines, Harry may have been focused on protecting the one plan that mattered more than anything else. In the end, one private family meeting had the potential to overshadow nearly every setback and dominate headlines around the world. That possibility changes how many people may now view the entire visit. Now let's return to today's story.
The Sussexes' star is fading fast. It's dipping below the horizon. They've understood now for a long time that the public's interest in them is only based upon their proximity to the royal family. The more distant they grow from the royal family, the less relevant they become. Nobody's interested in another wannabe Martha Stewart. It's all about the proximity to the institution of the crown.
Even ask her to hand over her devices before any such face-to-face.
Harry was not simply moving from one engagement to another with nothing left to gain. He may have been quietly counting down the hours until his family arrived, believing that every disappointment from the week would eventually be pushed aside by one meeting with King Charles. Yet this unexpected development opens the door to even bigger questions. Why was every step kept so carefully out of public view? Why did Meghan stay away from every public appearance? Why were Harry's engagements presented as solo appearances while his family remained completely out of sight? And why did confirmation reportedly emerge only after the private meeting had already taken place, leaving everyone asking what the reason was for keeping everything hidden until the very end? From the way everything reportedly unfolded, this did not resemble an ordinary family reunion at all. Every stage appeared carefully managed, tightly coordinated, and is surrounded by extraordinary secrecy from beginning to end. But doesn't that immediately raise more questions? When Meghan is involved, many people expect at least one carefully planned public moment. A meeting with King Charles, especially if it included an official photograph, could have generated enormous positive attention. Just a single palace-approved image might have shifted the entire conversation and helped reshape public opinion almost overnight. So what was really happening behind the scenes? That silence may have been part of the price for making the meeting possible.
They lie like Pinocchio. Last Friday, Eden writes, they all received a long message confirming details of Prince Harry and Meghan's return visit to Britain. It wasn't just the type of short message they sometimes receive, but a long operational note detailing exactly what the couple would be doing after they landed in the country.
The titles matter. Having an open family connection matters to Meghan Markle. Knowing that they have proximity to royalty, it matters. So the story only works if Harry still has some doorway back into the royal world.
In the first place, before Harry even arrived in Britain, reports suggested that any private family gathering would come with firm expectations and clear boundaries. Those reported conditions appeared designed to protect everyone's privacy from the very beginning. According to those reports, there would be no cameras inside the meeting, no Instagram posts afterward, no commercial promotion connected to the visit, and no future interview in the United States describing what King Charles supposedly said behind closed doors. In other words, the palace seemed determined to stop another private royal moment from becoming material for a documentary, a podcast, a memoir, or any other publicity project. If those reports were accurate, the message could not have been much clearer. But can that level of privacy really survive once the visit is over? That may be the biggest question of all. Harry has reportedly reassured his father that he will not publicly discuss what happened during the meeting. Even so, the situation quickly became more complicated. If one of the reported conditions truly involved avoiding commercial activity linked to the visit, then why did reports begin claiming that camera crews were following parts of the trip? That detail naturally sparked fresh debate. If everything was genuinely intended to remain private,
Harry would be stupid enough to believe that his wife just wants the children to connect with their grandmother. Harry, they might feel the spirit of your mother like I did, and he'd just follow along with it because it's Harry. But yeah, I think this is more to do with what this trip is about than what it was, a reconciliation with the king. Harry and Meghan, and when they have put out statements saying, of course we're not working on a Diana documentary, I personally do not believe them. They are both very obsessed with Diana. Harry has taken ownership over Diana's memory. Meghan likes to dress like Diana. It's not once or twice, it's been continuously. It's not just from a few years ago.
Then what exactly was being recorded? Was it connected to the Invictus Games? Footage for a future documentary? Simple background B-roll, personal family memories, or something much larger that has not yet been explained? This is where many observers begin asking tougher questions. The reported understanding seemed straightforward. Keep members of the royal family separate from commercial productions and avoid creating another media controversy. Yet almost immediately, stories involving camera crews started circulating again. That timing has only encouraged more speculation. So was the reported agreement ever likely to hold? Or did some people believe there was always room for different interpretations? Meghan's reported presence only makes those questions even more intense. She is widely recognized for understanding the value of media attention, the impact of a carefully timed appearance, and the influence a single unexpected royal image can have around the world. A photograph showing King Charles with Archie and Lilibet would almost certainly have spread across global headlines within minutes. Likewise, an image of Meghan arriving at Highgrove could have dominated newspaper front pages and online coverage, potentially changing the tone of discussion surrounding her in Britain almost overnight. So why reportedly accept a meeting that produced no immediate public image or visible moment of celebration? Was she willing to accept those reported conditions because rebuilding family relationships mattered more this time? Or does she believe the greatest value of the visit may not appear until much later, once the immediate headlines begin to fade? Looking at everything that has surfaced so far, those reports about camera crews suddenly seem to carry far more significance than they first appeared to. According to multiple reports, the family's journey may not have started in Britain at all. They were reportedly already in Europe before quietly entering the UK, a move that would have allowed them to stay close while avoiding any confirmation of their final plans too soon. If that was the approach, it offered flexibility and helped keep the most important part of the trip away from intense public attention until everything was reportedly in place. That arrangement would have allowed Harry to complete his scheduled public appearances, while Meghan remained away from cameras and media speculation. Then, once the reported security preparations and family timetable were finalized, the family could travel to Highgrove without creating the highly public spectacle that had surrounded the visit for weeks. If that really was the strategy, many observers would argue that it achieved exactly what it was intended to do. The biggest development stayed hidden until the timing was right, leaving many people caught completely by surprise. What happens after this visit may provide the clearest answers. Will the Sussexes leave Britain without sharing a single private detail? Will there be no official photographs, no emotional public statement, and no anonymous accounts describing how warm or meaningful the reported meeting may have been? Will Meghan return to California and allow the entire moment to remain exactly as it was reportedly intended, private and out of public view? Or will carefully selected details gradually begin emerging over the coming days, each one shaping the public story of a royal reconciliation that nobody outside the meeting was allowed to witness? That possibility is exactly why so many people continue watching closely. Every new report now carries extra significance because even the smallest detail could shift the conversation once again. But Highgrove may not have been the only reason Meghan and the children reportedly travelled to Britain. Another question has now started following this entire visit, and it centres on Althorp, the estate where Princess Diana is buried. There has already been ongoing speculation that Harry could choose to visit Diana's grave with his family during the trip. On the surface, that possibility would be easy for many people to understand. Harry may simply want Archie and Lilibet to learn more about the grandmother they never had the chance to meet. It could represent a deeply personal family moment away from public attention. Yet another reported detail has added fresh curiosity to the discussion. Reports have suggested that a camera crew may already be connected to Harry's Invictus work, while there has also been continued talk about a future project linked to the 30th anniversary of Princess Diana's passing. That naturally raises another question. Was this family visit planned solely to encourage reconciliation with the king? Or had Althorp always been part of the broader schedule? Consider the apparent contrast. Reports suggested the Sussexes had agreed to keep any time spent with the royal family completely private. No cameras, no commercial activity connected to the meeting, no Instagram photographs, and no interviews discussing what happened behind closed doors. But what if those reported restrictions applied only to Highgrove itself? What if cameras stayed away during the private meeting, but later returned if the family visited Diana's resting place? Would that technically remain within the reported understanding, while still capturing one of the most emotional and meaningful moments imaginable? A grandfather meeting his grandchildren would certainly attract worldwide attention, but images of Harry walking alongside Archie and Lilibet toward Princess Diana's final resting place could become headlines seen across the globe within moments, creating an unforgettable chapter in the story of this remarkable visit. That is exactly why this visit has prompted so many new theories about what may really have been happening behind the scenes. Some observers are now asking whether there was another purpose connected to the journey beyond the reported private family meeting. Did Meghan return because she genuinely wanted to rebuild relations with the royal family? Did Harry bring Archie and Lilibet because King Charles hoped to spend time with his grandchildren? Or was the family's presence also connected to a possible Diana-related project that simply could not have been filmed while they were in California? If the visit was intended only as a quiet and deeply personal pilgrimage, then why has so much discussion continued surrounding cameras and possible future productions? And if footage from any part of the journey eventually becomes public, will people still view the entire trip as being focused on healing and rebuilding family relationships? Or could some observers conclude that the reported reconciliation with King Charles created the respectable family narrative, while a possible visit connected to Princess Diana provided the emotional storyline? That theory would also help explain why everything was reportedly kept so secret until the very last moment. Every detail appeared carefully managed, making the timing seem just as important as the visit itself. It could explain Harry's relaxed mood. It could explain the confidence he displayed throughout the week. And it might also explain why Meghan reportedly returned after spending years away from Britain. Perhaps Highgrove became the unexpected headline that surprised everyone, while Althorp may still be the part of the story attracting the greatest curiosity. For many people following the reports, that possibility continues to raise even more questions. For days, the media focused on whether Meghan had decided not to come at all. Royal commentators debated whether she would ever return to Britain under any circumstances. Reports also claimed that ongoing security concerns had prevented the long-anticipated family reunion from taking place. Harry was photographed attending engagements alone, and before long, Meghan's absence became almost as significant as the events themselves. Then, according to later reports, the picture changed dramatically. Meghan had not necessarily rejected Britain altogether. Instead, she reportedly stayed away from the public-facing part of the visit while remaining out of the spotlight. The timing makes the story even more interesting. Before reports of the private meeting emerged, Harry's week appeared to be filled with setbacks. His legal case involving the publisher of the Daily Mail had been dismissed, creating another wave of difficult headlines. Yet only a short time later, Harry appeared calm, joked about the warm weather, greeted people with a smile, and continued supporting Invictus events without showing obvious signs of frustration. That reaction immediately caught people's attention. Many expected a major courtroom defeat to leave him looking discouraged. Instead, he continued moving through his schedule as though the biggest headline of the week had not changed his mood at all. Was that simply a sign of discipline? Was he determined not to give photographers the disappointed expression they may have been expecting? Or was he smiling because he already knew something the public had not yet discovered, that Meghan and the children were reportedly making their way closer to Britain, while almost no one suspected what might happen next? Throughout the most difficult public moments of Harry's visit, Meghan remained out of sight. She was not beside him after the court setback, she did not attend his Invictus appearances, and she avoided the British crowds, difficult questions, and possible public criticism. According to the reports, she appeared only when a private family meeting with King Charles reportedly became possible. That decision immediately sparked different interpretations. Critics argue she stayed away from every challenging moment and returned only when the most meaningful family meeting was within reach. Supporters believe she was protecting her children while respecting the palace's reported request for privacy. So which explanation seems more convincing? Did Meghan place family ahead of publicity this time, or did she simply choose the moment that carried the greatest long-term significance while avoiding unnecessary public attention? Instead of ending the speculation, the secrecy only encouraged more debate. Reports suggested there was a straightforward understanding. Harry and Meghan could continue their commercial work in America, but private time with the royal family in Britain was expected to remain completely separate from business. That reportedly meant no promotional use of family meetings, no filming private royal moments, and no turning a personal visit into commercial material. Even so, fresh questions quickly appeared. Reports also claimed that camera crews were connected to Harry's Invictus activities. That may be entirely reasonable, because Invictus is a public initiative, and filming those events is very different from filming a private family meeting. However, once cameras are already following parts of the trip, some observers naturally begin asking where coverage of charity work ends and other future projects might begin. Similar questions have surrounded reports of a possible visit to Althorp, Princess Diana's family estate and final resting place. There has also been speculation about a future project connected to Diana, leading some people to wonder whether any footage collected during the trip could eventually become part of that work. If that were ever to happen, the debate over privacy would almost certainly grow even stronger. Ultimately, the bigger concern has never been about cameras alone. It has always been about trust. Royal aides have long been reported to worry not only about what is recorded in the moment, but also about private conversations being recalled later, emotional memories being retold, or personal exchanges being interpreted publicly from only one perspective. Even if every camera remained outside Highgrove, everyone inside would still remember what happened. In the end, protecting a private conversation depends less on removing recording equipment and far more on trusting that those private moments will never be revealed, promoted, or used later. That trust was badly damaged years ago. Those reported conditions were not presented as ordinary requests. They appeared to be firm ground rules designed to protect the visit from beginning to end. The reported ban on cameras, social media posts, and later public accounts suggested that everyone involved wanted the meeting to remain as private as possible. Harry reportedly accepted those conditions because the meeting itself was considered the priority. For years, he has argued that Britain was not safe enough for his family without the level of security he believed was necessary. Yet, despite previous disagreements over security and accommodation, the family reportedly managed to enter Britain quietly and reach Highgrove without public disruption. That development is likely to become part of the wider debate. Some people will argue that if Meghan and the children were able to travel safely, avoid public attention, and complete the visit without incident, it raises fresh questions about the broader security dispute. Others may respond that one successful trip under carefully planned circumstances does not automatically resolve concerns about future visits or different situations. Even so, the public image is difficult to ignore. The family reportedly arrived, the meeting took place, and the details remained private until afterward. That alone has become one of the biggest talking points surrounding the visit. Behind the scenes, the pressure must have been significant. Any unexpected leak, public sighting, or premature comment could have changed everything. Harry therefore had every reason to remain composed during his public appearances and avoid creating additional controversy before the reported family meeting had taken place. Although Harry publicly criticised the court ruling, he did not immediately begin a lengthy media tour, while the reported reunion remained uncertain. Meghan also stayed out of the spotlight, and very few details about the visit emerged before it reportedly happened. Whether by design or circumstance, that level of restraint allowed the meeting to proceed without becoming a public spectacle. That is why so many questions about motive continue to follow the story. Was this primarily about a grandfather spending time with his grandchildren? Was Harry hoping to strengthen his relationship with his father? Was Meghan exploring whether a more private approach to Britain could work after years away from public royal life? Or could this have been the first meaningful step toward a much longer process of reconciliation? Or could this have been only the first chapter of a much larger story, with future projects revealing everything except the details the palace reportedly wanted to keep private? The answer may depend on what happens next, or what doesn't happen next. If no private conversations are revealed, no unexpected photographs appear, and no future commercial project makes use of the reported reunion, many people may see that as a sign that Harry understands the importance of rebuilding trust. In that case, silence could speak louder than any public statement. There is one final twist that makes this story even more intriguing. The same secrecy that reportedly protected the private meeting may have also created the biggest surprise of the visit. For days, many believed Meghan had stayed away from Britain. Harry appeared to be carrying out every engagement alone, and the family reunion seemed unlikely. Then everything changed. Reports claimed Meghan had been in Britain after all, whether planned or simply the result of extraordinary circumstances, and the mystery attracted far more attention than a publicly announced visit likely would have received. That is why this story may not be over. The reported reunion may have taken place, but the real test begins after the Sussexes leave Highgrove. Harry's difficult week ended with one development almost nobody expected. He faced a courtroom defeat and fresh palace disagreements, yet reports suggest Meghan and the children were quietly making their way to Britain. The secrecy now seems to have had a purpose, but the real motive remains open to debate. So what do you think? Was this a genuine private family reunion, or the first step in something much bigger? Why do you think Meghan reportedly accepted complete privacy during such an important visit? And if cameras eventually appear during another deeply personal moment, how will people view it? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe to this channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next update. The reported private meeting may be over, but the biggest questions could still be ahead.